How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and I'm actually happy and excited again, because we got ourselves Yield in Rigwald's Charge. Also, I identified it, or I knew what item it was, what was on the ground. So, a little bit about that, why that's kind of funny. I can identify every item in Diablo 3 off the ground. Literally just the item on the ground before I even pick it up. I can also identify every item on pre-identification. So I can see it in my inventory and know exactly what it is. That's how much of fucking action RPGs I've played. But yeah, so a little bit of trivia about your boy. But welcome back to episode 27, I believe, of the Ultimate Survival Guide. We have switched to Tectonic Slam, a quick update from the last episode. I know a lot of people want me to stay Sunder or whatever, right? You know, and I will be going back to that sort of general build type of thing. But because we've got a massive weapon upgrade that literally cannot be used with Sunder, it is more advantageous to us in the span of speed clear to switch to what we've been given, right? If I was given a hefty axe or something, hefty mace, then I'd probably still be playing Sunder right now. But because there's skill restrictions, might as well make use of what we have. And in our case, it is a sword with a shitload of attack speed. So now we are playing more to the way I like to play things. Fast as fuck, boy. That is how I prefer to play my classes personally, as well as with massive AoE. You can see our movement and clear speed has gone up a significant amount. You motherfucker, that's a necro weapon, I don't actually care. But yeah, now we're having a good time. We're moving fast as fuck now. This is great. Need to kind of be a little careful though, because he's doing poison damage to me, which is kind of annoying. Keep that totem up. Also, my attack speed increases totem attack speed, for reference. So me attacking really fast means totem attacks really fast, which is also hype. But yeah, also means I leap slam faster. There's a trial. Sick, let's do it. I think I'm tanky enough to sustain these. These things hurt. I will fully admit. These things do actually hurt a lot. But now we have enough AoE to basically cover 3 screens, so we're fine. For the most part. Kind of sprint through that. And pop over here. Bang. That doesn't actually matter. Whoops. The timed crank will just stop things in its tracks. But yeah, might as well grab these if you come across them. We will be coming back for them eventually. So if you find them, go for it. If not, it's whatever. Doesn't matter. It'll just, like, you know, make you have to come back eventually. Doesn't make the biggest difference. It's whatever. God, look at this. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it is beautiful. I mean, you are watching a series from a guy who literally plays the most, like, underrated / considered trashiest ascendancy in the game. Just because he likes attack speed. Just because I like fast attacking builds. I'm not a big fan of slow attackers anymore, if I'm honest. But we have some attack speed now, which is more preferable to the way I like to play personally. As well as we have very many generators of endurance charges, which synergizes quite nicely with Tectonic Slam to give us nice AoE. On top of, do we have the AoE node already? You know, I can actually take damage in this scenario and not care, but oh, I need that next. I need me some AoE, boy. Need to make this larger. I need AoE, I need mana void. I should probably go mana void. Even though, like, now I'm thinking, right? Now we're going again. This is the thing about Path of Exile, right? Is while leveling a slow character or something like that, or if your character is less powerful than you'd like, or kind of slow, you get a little complicit, right? You're like, okay, this is what it's gonna be for now. Let's just go with it. And then something happens, and you're going fast again, and you're involved, you're intrigued again, you're going, right? So I'm sure you guys can hear the tonal pace, right? Or the change of pace in my voice, right? Because I'm 100% in right now. Before I was, you know, filling air, I was doing all this other shit, but now we're here and now we're playing. It's good. This is what I love about Path of Exile, right? Is you'll have a time where you're like, okay, I'm struggling, and then something will drop. Doesn't matter what it is, but something good will drop finally, and you'll be like, where have you been all my life? In my case, a good weapon. In other cases, sometimes it's a pair of gloves. Like, you know, face breakers drop, Nocturnal Caress drop, What else is really good? Deirdre's Tenure aren't bad, depending on the spell you're playing. Deirdre's Tenure gives you 60% more spell damage. Nocturnal Caress gives you 15% attack speed, as well as 10% chance on kill to gain any charge in the game. So this one item effectively gives you a chance to cap frenzy charges, endurance charges, and power charges all at the same time from the one item. So yeah, it gives you 15% attack speed, potentially 12 plus from charges, as well as, you know, endurance charges and power charges. Power charges being increased critical hit chance and critical hit damage. So that's pretty cool. But that's kind of where things can swing, especially in solo self-found. Obviously, if you're playing a trade league or whatever and you're struggling, you can buy your problems away, but then it's not as hype. It's not as cool, right? Because now, this dropped out of the blue. RNG said, okay, go have a fun time, kiddo. And this is why I love solo self-found, right? Is a Rigwald's charge in trade league right now, in this scenario, isn't hype at all. No one gives a fuck, because they've bought either a Rigwald's already, or they've bought something better. Just like a crafted weapon for like an alteration. Because some guy playing a mage had it drop for him, and he's like, well, this is fucking useless. Meanwhile, it lets you just destroy the planet. Like, in that scenario, those colors are kind of meh. But in that scenario, like, this weapon in Trade League right now is nothing. This is like, you spend an alc on this fucking weapon. Which is, it's fine, it's whatever. But because of the solo self-found, this is hype shit right now. This is, it's a pinnacle moment type of thing, you know. Love these sorts of things. Love solo self-found in general. Obviously, there is merit to playing Trade League, and I will be playing some at some point eventually. Or some more of Trade League, but it's just not as hype. With the back-end knowledge of, yeah, I made this really fucking good item, and you go and look it up, and your tri-res life chest piece is like 2C. Had that happen before. I actually made a belt. What was it? I made a belt in Incursion. This was when I was first started playing, and I was still relatively new to Path of Exile. I made a belt that had, in total, 149% resistances. Oh, that's cool. 149% res. It had, like... It was, like, try 40 res. And then I corrupted it, because it was a cloth belt. And I got 12% all res, or some shit like that. So, I had this tri-res 50% plus a piece belt. That was like, you know, you think that, and you're like, oh boy, this man's got money, right? Problem is, we were in Trade League, in Incursion. Incursion has a belt from a boss that drops called String of Magnitude, or something like that. This is a unique belt that drops off of the end Incursion boss. Incursion bosses were being ran all the time, because it's the, what is it? It's the league mechanic, right? So it's in every single zone, all the time. People are getting a fuckload of Incursion bosses, and the uniques are dirt cheap. Now, what this belt does is it has a variety of roles, because it's a corrupted belt that has one thing on it, and that is implicit modifiers are tripled. That probably sounds really weird, but the implicit modifier we've covered before on certain items, right? There's a mace with AoE, there's boots with resists and that sort of stuff, right? So implicits are tripled, means those, say, 20% resist boots are 60% resists, right? Which sounds fucking insane, doesn't it? Sounds insane. But this item can actually roll resistances, but all resistances. I don't mean all three, just flat all resistances. So this belt itself, on its own, could be a stat piece that just says plus 50% all res. Straight up. So my ultra hype belt that rolled 3 resist rolls and a corrupted implicit for resists is a 1C belt, right? Is a 1C belt, because that's what this thing was going for, because it was so common at the time. Or this string of servitude with this set of resists was that common that my God Roll belt became a 1C belt. So yeah, I'm actually gonna die. Yeah, this is Groost. I was enjoying that story, so I'll explain this boss now. Remember how I was talking about bleed stacks? This boss is the king of bleed stacks, and is why I have an adrenaline or a bleed quicksilver flask while leveling. In my case, I don't have one now. I have some currency. I can try my best. RNG, favor me. I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, honestly. But let's try round 2. Bam. Could have been better. I got an alchemy. Sick. I can use that later. This is what happens when you start going fast. You just zone out and you just go. Right? It's great. But yeah. So this boss, he spawns like dogs that do damage. Decent amount of damage. I like the start of the fight. Then he spawns a shitload of enemies, as well as bleeds you quite a bit. Try to avoid his like spear attack thing that comes from the sky, like so. Notice this is the icon for bleeding right up here. If you have that on you, be careful. Wait for it to run out. I don't think he can stack it very high or like stack it up because he's not corrupting blood. But his bleed is very, very lethal. You can see it keeping me at low health, even on this character, right, which we've pretty much communally established is durable. Try to avoid that attack. He will like snap to you instantly. So doing the same sort of thing you were doing on Tukahama, where you just like run behind him over and over, doesn't really make a difference. Because he'll snap to you basically instantly. So you have to just kind of run around and outpace it. Use a Quicksilver if you need to. We'll solve that problem very, very quickly. But yeah, he's kind of difficult. If you take a bleed flask, he's a fucking joke. But since we don't have one right now, you can see exactly how much tanking all of his shit like a retard while being bled will do to you. But yeah, we are doing pretty decently. Obviously, not the best boss killer, but there's a meme that it's a Wolfian build, so it's not gonna be good at killing bosses. Because I've had difficulty creating good boss killers up until my Berserker that I'm playing right now. There'll be a build on it relatively soon. Although it's Berserker, so it's obviously trash /S. Yeah, I'm not the best at creating boss killing builds, as I'm sure you can see. But yeah, there's him down, and I believe he gives... Does he give a Pantheon? He's harvesting his soul, so maybe. You can tell how much attention I pay to the Pantheon system. I do quests when everything's over. I look at it and go, oh, that looks interesting. Oh, he does. What does he give me? Relicash. This is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about. Bleed one, right? This is the one you want to run in Labyrinth. Just click it on before you go to do your Labyrinth. 25% reduced physical damage over time taken while moving. Right? That's basically saying 25% less bleed damage taken while moving. And 25% chance to avoid bleeding in general. Now, that is not really going to do much for you in case of Labyrinth traps, because they tick very, very fast. So 25% chance to avoid a like 0.1 second application. You're probably still going to like take damage, but you might avoid maybe 2 hits in that, or in that chain, and that will save you a little bit of damage, I guess. So it's not the end all be all. And now we're all the way over here. Now, this is I'm gonna show you some tech with this, okay? So to continue the story, you have to go along this way, right? You go along this way, and you go into the Vol City, which is an area everyone fucking hates. I'll show you why when we get there. And then they're gonna tell you to go find fireflies, which are over here. So you're gonna have to come back here, go get fireflies, and then go in here. Now what you can do, because Path of Exile is cool like this, you can get fireflies first, and then you can go there and just hand them to her, and we're done. So we're going to do that in that order. We're going to get the fireflies first, because there's also a skill point quest boss in there. And then we're going to go get the rest of the act done. So let's turn these quests in real quick, though, because I want my skill points. Or my singular skill point and shoes. Because fuck me, right? We're not going to do that. It's a pointless side quest that I don't care about. This is a Necromancer weapon. So if I wanted to play a Vol Necro build, which I actually have 2 of on the channel, one of which uses this weapon. The other one can probably use this weapon as well, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, I made an entire Necro build using this that made it to tier 13 without really caring. It used this and one other unique that costs like 10 chaos. So if you want a budget starter, that's a pretty decent one. I'm probably not going to put a card on it because I'll forget to. but just look on the channel for a Vol Summon Skeletons, Vol Skeleton Warriors build. It should be in the guides playlist. That will be incorporated in this weapon. It's pretty decent. All in all, character was a lot of fun. It taught me a lot about minions too, because essentially what it is Vol Summon Skeletons spawns like 45 plus skeletons at the same time. And what I ended up learning, we're gonna go 1 point there, 4%, keep in mind, 4% resists, 0.2% life, fizz mitigation, so like 0.3 or 3% fizz mitigation, all in this one node, just for reference. And life regen on its own, I think. So that's pretty good. Grab Bravery for increased life. I do want this Spirit Void, but we're going to finish off what I started first before I get that. We're going to apply both of them, and we're at a pretty decent health pool already. Optimally, I'm going to look to end at about 5k health. 5k to 5.5k, roughly. Which, considering where we're at right now, may seem like, oh my god, that's impossible. But we'll get there. We'll get there. It's really about life on gear, and right now we just have none of that. But that'll change very fast, I promise you. Once we get to Act 9, everything in this build is going to change. Because we're going to get to Blood Aqueducts, and then we're just going to farm for, I don't know, maybe like an hour or two. I'll probably cut it out. And I'll be like, right, so I just farmed Blood Aqueducts for an hour and a half, and then I'll cut back in and be like, hey, this is what happened. But yeah. Click the Soul Fight node, why not? I showed you guys how Delve works already. I don't know, I kind of leave Delve be nowadays, which is a shame because I love the system. But I just leave it be until I cap it, and then I'm like, oh shit, I should do something about this. But yeah. Alright, Dredd Ticket. This is the area you're looking for. This is right here. Go into here before you go anywhere else. Did I not click the door? Did it... Game, can I get a replay? Can I get a replay on that one? What the fuck? Did I not click the door? I'm confused. Alright, you can tell you're in here, by the way. If you press U, it will bring up the world screen and show that you went down to Dredd Ticket. So we're going to look for quest icons for fireflies in here. I'll show you when we come across one. It should be pretty easy to see. And yeah, there's one. There's quite a few in here, so just make sure to grab as many as you come across. It'll give you a notification when you get them all. Like a notification over here, it'll say bring the fireflies to Nessa. Is it Nessa? I don't remember. Bring the fireflies to someone. That's how you know you have all of them. So keep looking until you get that notification. And we're going to look for another entrance to an area in here, because it's going to take us to an annoying boss that may kill me. Possibly. We'll see. It'll take us to Gruthkol? Is that his name? I think so. Angry Bear, who does... what is it? He does like some fucking roar that does like either a lot of damage or reduces your armor and like protections and stuff. Also, we're at 6 charges right now, so we very chunky. 82% resists. Pretty good. We're doing alright. We're doing alright. And I'll show you how to get that number even better, because keep in mind at Act 10 we're going to lose another 30%. But we can basically get our res very high by farming an area in Act 9 to get good gear. Or to get, how do I say this? To get currency to let you craft good gear. But I'll be explaining that all in the relatively near future, hopefully. Because I mean, this attack speed is beautiful. So I can actually go relatively quickly now. Or speed my pace up a little. Because, yeah, I don't know what my exact attacks per second is right now. Attack time is 0.28. It's pretty good because everything combines together, right? So the multi-strike and all this other stuff all combines up and makes life very, very nice. I don't know what it is, but I really just like swords in Path of Exile. I don't know why. I just like the animation of the way he holds a sword. Maybe it's just me. That's definitely just me. But there's something about Sword Marauder that I just like the concept of. But they all play Axe because Axe gives you Onslaught, so I'm sad. Den of Despair is the area we're looking for, because there is Big Bad Bear, who don't stand in that area. I think it does damage to you. Yeah, it does damage to you. Don't stand in that. Every 25%, this boss is going to do a howl that will reduce your HP. And then don't stand in that, because it'll give you a stack of his thing, I think, or just do damage to you. This is a stack. You make it so you're slowed and you take more damage. This is the howl that he does. Yeah, so don't stand in that. It does a lot of damage. But honestly, just tank him. If you die, come back in. This is like a 1 to 2 death boss most times. Eventually, like if you don't kill him on low HP, he's just gonna one-shot you because he'll stack up on you over and over. You're gonna have a bad day. So there's 3 stacks. Even though I'm not like stood in front of it, it's like a global thing no matter where you are in the room. There's another one. See, he does like the pulse out from him. So try not to get hit, obviously, by the thing. But that pulse is going to hit you no matter what, and you're going to probably fucking die. Keeping a portal up every now and then to get mana back could be useful, because in my scenario, I'm out of flasks entirely. Here it's actually meta to die, so if he kills me, he kills me. I don't really care. I'm going to do as much damage as I can before I die. Softcore tactics. Put my auras back on. I have full flasks again. This is what I was talking about, right? This is why I don't give a shit about dying anymore. Ah, it's almost big oof. Alright, we're good. This is why I really don't care about dying on stream anymore, because in this sort of scenario, it's like, I'm playing softcore, I'm gonna do softcore things, right? Might as well. Let's not stand in degen. Ow. Ow, volume 2. I still have mana flasks, so I don't want to die just yet. Definitely gonna die to something, because I'm stood in his fucking damage over time effect. Again, that's fine. Pop the auras up. Come back in. Basically how this boss goes in softcore, or just at the start of a league where you have no actual damage. This is how this goes. And don't get me wrong, we have damage, just not boss damage. Avoid big angry bear maul. Bear hugs are not as good as people say they are. Would not recommend personally. Ow. And since we're at 8 stacks, does a lot of damage. Point proven. I stood in that, but still. When you come in, you'll be instantly back at the stacks you were at, by the way. So, you know, be careful that you don't accidentally step in something when you come back in and just get one shot. Especially if you're playing a build based on leech or on anything like that. Oh boy. But yeah, it's whatever. Just phase tank it. Doesn't make a difference to me. Now, if I had Culling Strike on the War Chief Totem, life would be a lot easier right now. I was actually going to put Culling Strike here, but then I'd have to change around the links and stuff, but that's a lot of work. I didn't ID these. Life. Shit, they're actually good. I can craft move speed on that. No, I can't, because all 3 suffixes are taken. Big sad. And we get ourselves additional fizz damage reduction for each hit you've taken recently, up to a maximum of 5%. Pretty good, however, I do stand still quite a bit because of multi-strike. So Tukahama is going to net me more fizz reduction, even though it's like, I don't know, this is iffy. You can probably go with either one. I mean, this is for how long are you gonna stay stationary for? And this one is just in general, it can give you like 5%. So if you stay stationary for a while, you'll get more mileage out of Tukahama right now. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna probably stick with that one. It's whatever. I don't want to run math right now, and nor do I really care to. Pantheons are kind of meh. But yeah, the League Hero is pretty good, but the Pantheons in this game are fucking terrible. Other than like 2 or 3, obviously, but we've covered this before, so. Let's go grab this. These should be like the last ones that I need, hopefully. Man, this is such good attack speed now, it's great. Obviously, bossing is kind of bad, but ignoring that factor, we're doing pretty decently. Of course, I just had to get ghosted, but whatever. I think this is our last one. And before I have to run around the whole area. There we go. Deliver the fireflies. That's how we know we have everything that we need. Kill this dude, and we can dip right on out of here. Normally, you just kind of go in a loop. I need that. Go in a loop, and you should pretty much be fine. And then we can go to the next waypoint, and probably call it quite good there. And then I get to go and work on a crafting video. Oh boy. Oh boy. Although I kind of got saved from crafting in this series, I guess, because of the Rigwald's drop. Which is wonderful. Thank you very much, RNG. You are amazing. You know, praise be and all that. Praise be to RNGesus. You have done me well, my friend. Honestly, shit like that is the exact reason I started recording and streaming and stuff. Even that's why I like streaming in general, because I have stupid shit like that happen to me all the time. And I've had it happen to me for like the past however many years. And like, you know, I mean, in Bethesda games, there was one time I had a goat just fall from the fucking sky, but it wasn't even in front of me. It wasn't even, like, near me. I just looked up, and this fucking goat, like, 500 meters from me, just fell out of the sky and died. And I was like, what? What the fuck? So, yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah. And then I started playing Witcher 3 recently. I was talking about that on stream. I finished it now. Very good. We recommend. But I started off the game, and it pans around. We get to the first town. We get into, or I get into the inn. And as it pans the camera, the biggest thing about Witcher 3 is when you get into a cutscene, it'll force you off your horse and then go into the cutscene. And in the cutscene, the real world continues on around you. So people are still walking or walking around and doing things. And things are wherever you left them. Now, I got off my horse normally in a decent scenario, right? Problem is, my horse started walking on its own. My horse's AI is also equivalent to ocelot shit in a can. So, what ended up happening was, it's in the cutscene, and it pans the camera for dramatic effect, right? And it pans the camera, and it pans the camera, and you can see, outside the window, my horse is upside down on a fence. And it just pans, and we're back into reality. And I'm fucking crying laughing, because I just saw this horse halfway up a fucking fence bugged out. And, like, it's fully back to being serious now, and I'm just like, ah. And, because the camera never pans again. So, I'm not able to, I'm not ever able to get another screenshot of that or anything. But, yeah, so, shit like that happens to me all the time. And that's one of the main reasons I started streaming, actually. Alright, so this is Alva. If you don't know who she is, go take a look at my video called Just in Time, Alva's next rap album. You'll get a very good laugh. Essentially, she spawns in Act 7+, which is, you know, of course, where we are right now. Now, this chick is interesting, let's put it that way. Certain builds will not be able to do her content. Genuinely. I don't know if mine will be able to right now in the current state it's in. Eventually, hopefully, yeah, obviously. But in the current state it's in, I don't know how well this is going to go. So essentially, you talk to her, and she'll give you this screen. Looks overwhelming? Give me like 5 minutes. This is what I do. Essentially, all of these are rooms in a temple, okay? Now, your main goal is to get as much loot and cool shit out of this area as possible. Getting to the top is, of course, nice, because the boss gives you cool shit and a guaranteed unique drop of some kind. So getting up here is your ultimate goal. Now, you can connect rooms via going into an incursion. This incursion system is mostly what you do. You have 11 incursions to upgrade the temple, and you see how some of these are like 1. I don't have any 2s, but you see how some of these are 1 and some of these have nothing on them. You can upgrade every one of these rooms and decide what you want out of like a few options. So, for our case right now, this incursion that we have is 1 of 11 remaining. After you clear all 11, you get to go and run all of this and reap your rewards, right? So you're basically building up your own massive loot run, essentially, which is quite cool. However, incursions on their own can give you some very good stuff as well. So in our case, for this cellar, right, we're going to go in and we're going to be able to kill one of 2 bosses here. We have the Architect of Iron, and we have the Architect of Storms. These are directly relegated to where they are in the incursion you go into. So in this case, if you want to kill this boss, he'll be up top of the map from where you spawn. If you want to kill this boss, he'll be at the bottom, guaranteed, of where you spawn. So in our case, we want the top boss, because chests full of armor gives you armor, whereas the other one just gives you tempests, right? So you want to aim for the ones that can give you chests full of X or chests full of Y. Other places that can give you other cool stuff as well. So out of what we've got so far, some of it's pretty good, some of it's pretty meh. Because we have contains chests full of items, which is nice. We have sacrifice a unique. This will give you another unique back, or another unique back. Can give you any unique in the game, headhunter included, best thing in the game. You know, RNG be with you. Or you would have places like Trap Workshop that add traps throughout the temple. So like the Izaro traps, right? The fucking saw blades and all that sort of shit will be added through the temple. It's generally spikes. It's generally just spikes, if I'm honest with you. But so for this one, you would want to go and pick a different, kill a different boss to get rid of the trap workshop, to change it to something else, right? So some of these are built to hinder you. You'll see these kind of connections here, right? See these connections here? And that is basically what you can walk to. You know, you have a path to it. So in our case, I can't reach the boss right now because we don't have a connected path to the boss. That's where these come in, right? These little things here. So in our case, if I were to put a stone of passage, which is something you find in the incursion, in this door, we access the hatchery. If I put it here, we go here. Put it here, we go here. Now, going to the hatchery is nice and all, but I can go to the hatchery, they can be connected, and I have this not connected to anything, so I can't, you know, I can't go anywhere with it. I might not be able to access it. There's other ways around that. You can get an explosives room that lets you just open a wall anywhere you want. It can be used to get you to the boss, etc., etc. Get to a room that you didn't connect for whatever reason. It's reasonably in-depth and pretty alright. The biggest thing is that Stone of Passages are relegated randomly through the incursion the moment you go in. So it could be on the first enemy you kill, could be on the last enemy you kill. So incursions also have a kill bonus. If you kill everything in the incursion, you'll get extra loot. So having a slash remaining macro is very useful for this. I don't. I just kind of assume, you know, if the bar is full, fuck it, whatever. But I'll show you this in practice. Me saying that now, I'm going to go in and get one shot. Biggest thing is that this has a time limit. This is why I say that some people can't do the content. I think we're okay, but I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to go in, pop all of our cooldowns and stuff. Make sure I've got mana up. And you see that timer up top? That is where the problems are going to start coming in. Because bosses are very, very tanky in this scenario. Because I don't have the most damage in the world. Yeah, I have good damage, but I may not be able to kill said boss. We wanted to kill the top boss, so I want to kill this one. But what I want to also do is make sure I'm able to kill trash at the same time whilst doing so. So long as I fill that bar up, in this scenario, I don't really care about killing the boss. I'm just trying to show it off. And you'll see I'm going to time out, and I only had 50% of the area cleared. But I still get loot, but not as good as I was gonna... Not as good as I could have gotten. So, in this scenario, it's built towards high clear speed, you know, good damage builds that can shit all over everything. Playing a chunky tank in this style of content does not really work. So you want things with big AoE, big clear, fast clear speed, all this sort of stuff. Now, that timer is kind of a bitch, and it goes really fast on shittier builds. But what you want to do, optimally, is go around and clear all the small stuff first, and then come back to the boss if you have good enough time, right? So on my current build, on my current War Chief, who I can drop 3 totems, they just smack once and everything's dead, right? 1 totem in one pack, 1 totem in the next pack, and just keep going through the entire area. And because of that, my timer will be at like 25 seconds, and then I run to whatever boss I want to kill, drop all my totems and wait, and he dies, and we're done, okay? That's how you want to do it with an optimal, good clearing build. You want to clear as much of the small shit as possible, decide what boss you want, go there. If you clear a bunch of stuff on your way up, and the top boss, or the boss you want is up top, that's fine. If he's there, you do enough damage and you're fast enough, kill him. Fucking go for it, right? In my case, we're not playing the fastest of fast builds. We're pretty decent, don't get me wrong, but for Incursion, that's definitely not something this character is built for. This character is probably more delve-based, which is like, you know, the lower you go, the more difficult the content gets, but it's not timed, right? So you can take as long as you want, but it's all about being built really durable. This character would do better in delve and in endgame maps than it will in Incursion ever. Now, that may change if and when I end up with more damage, right? We have decent damage right now. I thought that was a 5-like, if I'm honest. We have decent damage right now, but Incursion's all about how fast can I kill the entire fucking screen and then some at the same time. So that's why I was a little worried. I can't really showcase it to the best of my abilities, but that sort of content, if that's what you enjoy doing, favors really well to high damage rangers with a lot of projectiles. So like tornado shot rangers, what else? Puncture rangers even, I guess, like I was talking about earlier. Anything that piercing projectiles that can go really far off your screen, do really, really well. And the biggest thing that does really well is arc. Arc is amazing. One vol arc can actually clear a whole incursion. if everything is like stacked up perfectly. 1 or 2 Vol Arcs can kill everything in the Incursion because they bounce and ricochet through everything else. And can straight up just, you know, clear it all. So we have access to 2 more of these. I'll do them for the showcase. Don't expect me to actually finish them or kill the boss I want. So in this case, you can upgrade rooms all the way up to a tier 3. So if I kill the top boss in time, I'll be able to upgrade this to a tier 2. Now, it says it gives the same thing. It does. If you get it to a tier 3, you can sacrifice a unique, and it will give you a unique back of the same type. So, why that's so good is you sacrifice a shitty leather belt in a tier 3 room, and it has to pick from like 1 of 6 belts, and has a good chance to give you a headhunter. Or the best chance you're going to realistically get to get a headhunter from that. So that's why that one's really good. Or say there's an axe you want or some shit like that. Then it's going to give you a guaranteed 2-handed axe unique. Or say there's, I don't know, a bow or a quiver or some shit you want. It's probably one of the better options that you have when it comes to kind of target forcing something-ish, I guess. Speaking of that, I need to actually look at my Einhar eventually. But we are getting close on time for this one, so probably going to do this and then just kind of call it. Go to the next waypoint, call it good. Even with my reasonable speed, it's still a little bit fuckered, if I'm honest. Everything in there is really durable. So, don't feel too bad about things not going to plan. But, you know, showcasing it for video. But yeah, that's where I was talking about with, you know, Path of Exile is the type of game where you make a lot of different characters, right? Which means you might make a Delve character, you might make an Incursion character, and nowadays you might make a Betrayal character. Who fucking knows? Because you're going to need something very, very tanky and very, very chunky to deal with those, or else you're going to get fucking destroyed. Betrayal characters will, or Betrayal stuff will probably be in the next week or the week after that. We should probably be reaching Act 9 by that point, and I'll be able to showcase to you those annoying sons of bitches. But until then, that is going to bring us to the end of this episode. That is a little bit of Incursions, basic stuff, Firefly gimmicks. Just keep going ahead if you're at this point. If you've got all your Fireflies, just keep going. You'll find Vol City and fucking hate yourself, but that's going to be fun to showcase when we get there. But that is going to be all from me. I hope you guys did enjoy, and as always, take care, gentlemen.